Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Archives.com live stream. I'm Amy Johnson-Crow, and today we are going to tackle the topic of why you can't find your ancestor in that county, boundary changes. If you've been doing genealogy for a while, you've probably come across the situation where you are absolutely positive that your family originated in a certain county. They just seem to have been there forever. But yet, when you go back and you're trying to move that family back in time, it's like they dropped off the face of the earth and you just simply can't find them. Well, there could be several reasons for that, but one of the most common reasons that you can't find a family in a particular county is that the county actually changed. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, we think of genealogies as something that families have. Well, counties in the United States also have genealogies. They also have origins. States typically didn't start with the number of counties that they have today. For example, Ohio currently has 88 counties. Well, as we'll see in a minute, it didn't start out that way. Counties were formed as populations grew and as they shifted. Think about for a moment why a county even exists. It makes a smaller unit of government, and there needs to be enough people in that area to justify having an entirely new government. So it makes sense that when a state is first formed, it doesn't boom, it's not automatically populated with everybody in equal dispersion all across the state. So counties came about as populations would grow and as they would shift, as roads would improve, as treaties were formed and other areas in that state were opened up for settlement, and populations grew in new areas. Then there was the need to create additional counties. And that's what we see impacting our genealogical research, are these new counties popping up and being formed from other counties. As I mentioned a moment ago, Ohio now has 88 counties, and that's the map that you see here on the right, with all 88 counties as they exist today. Well, the map over here on the left is the state of Ohio as it was formed in 1803. And as we can see, we have Trumbull County up here taking up the entire northeast corner of the state. Well, today, Trumbull County is just a little, it's decent sized county, but it's a regular sized county just right here in this part of the state. And I just lost my mouse. There it is. So Trumbull County today is just this area here. But when Ohio was formed, it was this entire area up here. And in 1803, we just had Jefferson County, Belmont, Washington, Fairfield, Ross, Adams, Claremont, and Hamilton. And then this entire section up here was unorganized. So we see a big difference between Ohio as it existed in 1803 and as it exists today. So as new counties were formed, it would take land from existing counties. So you'll see Trumbull County up here being carved up into numerous other counties as time went on. The same for Jefferson and Belmont and Washington and Fairfield and all of the other counties as they existed in 1803. And that's something that we really need to keep in mind. As an example, here is the Henry Morris family in 1860. This is the 1860 census showing Henry Morris and his household in Buffalo Township, Noble County, Ohio. And we have Henry, we have Antrim, we have Ellen, Rebecca, Shanninger, and Hannah. So if I have this family in 1860 in Buffalo Township, Noble County, my first inclination is to look for them in Noble County in 1850. As we see in the rest of the census, the entire family is born in Ohio. So It makes sense. If they're in Noble County in 1860, it makes sense to start there to look for them in 1850. Well, when I look for the Henry Morris family in Noble County in 1850, I find that there aren't any Henry Morrises in Noble County in 1850. In fact, there are no Morrises at all in Noble County in 1850. But I do find Henry Morris and his family in Buffalo Township, Guernsey County, Ohio in 1850. And here we have Henry and Anne, and we also have Rebecca and Shanninger and Hannah. So it is the same household. You might notice that they're living in a township of the same name, but in a different county. Well, there's a perfectly good reason for that. It's not coincidence, and the family did not move. What happened between 1850 and 1860? Noble County was formed in 1851, which that explains why we didn't find the family in Noble County in 1850. Noble County didn't even exist in 1850. So as we do a little bit of exploration about this, we find that Noble County was formed in 1851 from 4 different counties. It took part of Guernsey County, Monroe, Morgan, and Washington counties. So parts of these 4 counties in 1851 were carved off of them and put together and formed the brand new county of Noble. So that area that we see the family living in 1860, that Buffalo Township, had actually been part of Guernsey County back in 1850. So the family didn't move. They're living in 2 different counties between 1850 and 1860. The family didn't move, the county line did. And that makes a tremendous difference to our research. Because the thing to keep in mind as you're doing research and you're looking at vital records and probate and land records, the records stay where they were created. So if you're looking for vital records, those birth records, marriage records, death records, if you're looking at land records, you're looking at probate records, well, just because a brand new county has been carved off of it doesn't mean that the records that were created for that portion of the county went with it. No, those vital records, those land records, those probate records are going to stay back in that original county where they were first created. So if I'm looking for a marriage record for this family, and I think that they got married before 1851, I know I'm not going to find that marriage record in Noble County because Noble County didn't exist until 1851. I need to look at those counties that Noble County was formed from. So how can I find this information? How can I find out when a county was formed and what counties it was formed from? One of the best places to look is at the Ancestry.com wiki. And it's online, it's a free resource, tremendous amount of information there, and the website is so easy to remember, ancestry.com/wiki. And when I go to the Ancestry.com wiki, I can go over here into the search area, over here on the left-hand part of the page, and I was interested in Noble County, Ohio. I wanted to see when it was formed and what counties it was formed from. So I just typed in Noble County, Ohio, and hit search. And I got a page specifically for Noble County, Ohio. And it tells me that it was formed in 1851 from the following counties: Guernsey, Monroe, Morgan, and Washington. And it also gives me more information about Noble County. But now I know, okay, if I think that this couple was married before 1851, let's say I think that they were married in the 1840s, I know I'm not going to find their marriage record in Noble County because it simply didn't exist. But maybe I should start looking in these other 4 counties. I am a huge fan of timelines. Timelines are great resources to help us sort out all of the information that we have found about our ancestors. And timelines are also really great when you have a situation like this where you're dealing with a county where parts of it have been have been split off, where a new county has been formed, and putting a timeline of sort of this county's genealogy can help you narrow down where you might find some records. So that's what I did here, was actually make a timeline for Noble County. So I just listed that in 1851 it was formed from Guernsey, Monroe, Morgan, and Washington. Well, what about those other counties? Well, Morgan County was formed in 1817, Monroe was formed in 1813, Guernsey was formed in 1810, and Washington County was actually one of the original counties in Ohio, and it was formed as part of the Northwest Territory in 1788. So let's say that I suspect that this family, that the husband and wife were married probably around 1814 based on the birth of their children. So if I really, feeling pretty good that they were married around 1814, well, I'm probably not going to look in Morgan because Morgan wasn't formed until 1817. But maybe I should be looking in Monroe or Guernsey or Washington, because those counties were in existence in 1814, and I've got the family in present-day Noble County in 1851, so maybe I want to take a look at these other originating counties to see if I can find their marriage record in there. And again, it's so key to remember that the records stay where they were created. So let's say that they were married in 1814 in that part of Monroe County that got split off to Noble. It doesn't matter. That marriage record is going to stay back in Monroe County. The same for the land records. I suspect that where the Morris family was living was actually that part that had been Guernsey County. Well, if I want to look at earlier land records that involved that piece of property, I'm going to have to look in Guernsey County, because that's where the records were created, that's where the records stay. The same with the vital records, the same with the probate records. Those records stay there. All right, next week, believe it or not, next week we are going to be into October already. And October is a wonderful time to be a genealogist because October is Family History Month. And we are going to kick off Family History Month with our live streams next week with getting started with archives.com. Everything that you've wanted to know about using the site, we're going to cover in next week's live stream on Wednesday, October 2nd at the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. In the meantime, please stay connected with archives.com, whether it's on the blog, liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, or watching our previous live streams on our YouTube channel. And I encourage you also to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because then you will get an email every time that we add a new video. So great way to stay up to date with all of the videos that are being posted up on our YouTube channel. For those of you who are watching this later on YouTube, I encourage you to join us on the live streams on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 o'clock Eastern. Join us in the chat room. We usually have some great questions and answers, and it's a really fun time. So if you're watching this on YouTube, join us on Wednesdays on the live streams. And for those of you who are watching this live, I encourage you to go over and watch our previous live streams over on the YouTube channel. Until next week, I'm Amy Johnson Crow, wishing you happy researching.